NLP. Affirmations, the power of beliefs, and healing from bad memories and fears. Written by Hendrik Kramers. Narrated by Sarah Margrave.
Chapter 1. What is NLP? Neuro-Linguistic Programming is a modeling approach that offers a toolkit of approaches for handling life's opportunities and difficulties. It is a really useful discipline, concerned with bringing results into the real world now. It starts with a mindset of curiosity. We have an interest in how things work. This then leads us to model effective people in a variety of circumstances. These models are continuously tested and refined. This, in turn, results in some methods, so that what's learned can be repeated and passed on to others. The test of a design is, does it work in the framework we are operating in? NLP is very much a model, test, refine, check technique. It's not a clinical discipline, as such, as we're concentrated on what works, instead of the notion behind it. Nevertheless, we maintain to date with clinical research as it gives wealthy material to check out and check. Good NLP training won't only teach how to use the techniques, but also the consciousness and ability needed to continuously adjust them and develop new ones based on the particular response from individual clients. Why is neuro-linguistic programming so beneficial? It can help you significantly enhance your communication and influence abilities. Apart from this, practicing these methods will increase your durability and your capacity to master change. Like exercising in a gym will build your physical strength, flexibility, and endurance. In business, the method can help you substantially improve the results you accomplish by helping you improve your leadership, sales, management, and relationship skills. In your personal life, NLP can help you connect to your purpose, overcome blocks, and help you navigate your own hero or heroine's journey. What do the words Neuro-Linguistic Programming mean? The name Neuro-Linguistic Programming came from when co-founder Richard Bandler was held back by the authorities for alleged speeding. He was asked what his occupation was and thought of the name after glancing at the titles of the books he happened to have in his vehicle. Despite all of this, the name gives a useful description of what we do. Neuro means connecting to the nervous system. The information we take in through our senses influences our neurological function. If we improve the accuracy with which we take in information, meaning we listen better and are more watchful, so we are more open to our own and other people's experience. This means our brains have better information to help make decisions. We also increase our capability to communicate successfully, both consciously and unconsciously. Linguistic is all about language. As we understand and are more familiar with language, the words themselves and their structure and the way they're spoken, speed, voice, tone, and rhythm, so we get a lot better information for making decisions and communicating purposely and unconsciously. Programming here refers to practices. We develop habits, some helpful, some less beneficial. NLP teaches us how we can develop and encourage beneficial routines and reduce less beneficial practices. So, there you go. Neuro-linguistic programming, using language to program our nervous system into more effective practices. Success is usually about developing the right routines in any situation. A brief history of neuro-linguistic programming. Neuro-linguistic programming was created more than 40 years ago by Richard Bandler and John Grinder. They studied and worked with some of the most talented psychiatrists and therapists of the day, Milton Erickson, Virginia Satir, and Fritz Perls. Contrary to most of the academics at the time, though, they took a completely different method in that they fixated on causing quantifiable change, instead of simply theorizing. Bandler and Grinder wanted to know the psychological strategies great performers used, what they did and how they did it. They designed ways of modeling these strategies so others could reproduce their performance. This became the preliminary model of NLP. They then tested and refined the model with their clients. As different groups became aware of its benefits, it spread out across a whole variety of human endeavors, including, but not limited to, coaching, art, sport, and business. Throughout its history, NLP has had a number of strong advocates and a number of strong critics. The critics in the main mistaking NLP for an academic instead of a modeling discipline, and some trainers being a little too conceited and too passionate about the claims they made. We thus suggest you do on your own diligence before investing in NLP. Check out whether it's right for you, and check out any trainer or practitioner that you might use. Chapter 2: The 5 NLP Techniques That Will Transform Your Life. Here are 5 of the most impactful NLP strategies when it comes to changing your conduct and helping you manifest a much better future. Top 5 NLP strategies that will change your life. Number 1. Disassociation. Have you ever been in a scenario that gave you a bad feeling? Maybe you have experienced something that gets you down every time you experience it. Or maybe you get worried in certain work situations where you need to speak openly. Maybe you get shy when you want to approach that special person you have had your eye on. While these feelings of unhappiness, nervousness, or shyness seems automatic or unstoppable, NLP strategies of disassociation can help tremendously. Step 1. Determine the feeling, such as fear, rage, discomfort, dislike of a scenario, that you want to get rid of. Step 2. Imagine that you can float out of your body and look back at yourself, encountering the entire circumstance from an observer's perspective. Step 3. Notice that the inner feeling changes drastically. Step 4. For an additional increase, imagine that you can float out of your body taking a look at yourself. Then, drift out of this body again, so you're looking at yourself looking at yourself. This double disassociation needs to take the negative feeling off almost any small situation. Number 2. Content reframing. Try this technique when you feel that a situation is negative or powerless. Reframing will take any negative circumstance and empower you by changing the meaning of the experience into something positive. For instance, let's say that your relationship ends. That may appear horrible on the surface, but let's reframe it. What are the possible advantages of being single? For instance, you're now open to other potential relationships. You also have the flexibility to do what you want, when you want. And you have learned valuable lessons from this relationship that will allow you to have even better relationships in the future. These are all examples of reframing a scenario. By reframing the meaning of the separation, you give yourself a much different experience of it. In expected situations, it's natural to panic or fixate on fear, but this just leads to more problems. On the other hand, moving your focus in the way just described helps you to clear your head and make accountable, even-handed decisions. Number 3. Anchoring yourself. Anchoring stems from the Russian researcher Ivan Pavlov, who tried out dogs by calling a bell repeatedly while the dogs were eating. After repeated rings of the bell, he found he could get the dogs to drool by calling the bell any time, even if there was no food present. This created a neural association between the bell and the behavior of salivating called a conditioned response. You can make use of these types of stimulus response anchors yourself. Anchoring yourself helps you to associate any desired positive emotional reaction with a specific expression or sensation. When you choose a positive emotion or thought and intentionally connect it to basic gesture, you can trigger this anchor at any time you're feeling low, and your feelings will instantly change. Step 1. Determine what you want to feel, such as self-confidence, happiness, calmness, and so on. Step 2. Decide on where you wish to put this anchor on your body, like pulling your earlobe, touching your knuckle, or squeezing a fingernail. This physical touch will enable you to set off the positive feeling at will. It does not matter where you choose, as long as it is a special touch that you do not touch for anything else. Step 3. Think of a time in the past when you felt that state, or in other words, self-confidence. Mentally return to that time and float into your body, looking through your own eyes and reliving that memory. Adapt your nonverbal communication to match the memory and the state. See what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel the inner feeling as you remember that memory. You'll begin to feel that state. This is similar to telling a friend an amusing story from the past, and as you get into the story, you begin to laugh again just because you associate to the story and relive it. Step 4. As you return to the memory, touch, pull, or squeeze the area on your body that you choose. You will feel the gut feeling swell while you relive the memory. Release the touch the moment the emotion peaks and begins to disappear. Step 5. This will develop a neurological stimulus response that will activate the state whenever you make that touch again. To feel that state, or confidence, just touch yourself the same way again. Step 6. To make the reaction even stronger, think of another memory where you felt that state. Go back and relive it through your own eyes and anchor the state on the same spot as before. Each time you add another memory, the anchor ends up being more powerful and will trigger a more powerful response. Number 4. Getting other people to like you. Rapport. This is an easy set of NLP strategies, but they have the power to help you interact well with virtually anyone. There are lots of ways to build rapport with another individual. One of the quickest and efficient ways originates from NLP. That technique involves discreetly mirroring another individual's nonverbal communication, tone of voice, and words. Individuals like people who are like themselves. By discreetly mirroring the other person, the brain fires off mirror neurons, satisfaction sensors in the brain, which make people feel a sense of preference for anybody mirroring them. The method is basic. Stand or sit the way the other person is sitting. Tilt your head the exact same way. Smile when they smile. Mirror their facial expression. Cross your legs when they cross theirs. Mirror their voice, and so on. The key to creating an unconscious rapport is subtlety. If you are too obvious, the other individual may see purposely, which would probably break rapport. So keep your mirroring natural and calm. Number 5. Impact and persuasion. While much of the work of NLP is devoted to helping people eliminate negative emotions, limiting beliefs, bad habits, conflict, and more, another part of NLP is dedicated to how to ethically impact and persuade others. One of the coaches in the field was a guy called Milton H. Erickson. Erickson was a psychiatrist who also studied the subconscious mind through hypnotherapy, the real clinical stuff, not the ridiculous home entertainment hypnosis that you see in stage shows. Erickson was so adept at hypnosis, he developed a way to speak to the subconscious minds of other people without needing hypnosis. He could literally hypnotize people anytime, anywhere in daily conversations. That Ericksonian method of hypnosis became referred to as conversational hypnosis. This is a really effective tool that can be used to not only influence and persuade others, but also to help other individuals conquer fears, restricting beliefs, conflict, and more without their conscious awareness. That is particularly beneficial when getting across to people who may otherwise be resistant if they know. Think teenage kids who don't want to listen. Chapter 3. The Power of Belief. What you believe can be extremely effective. If you believe you are ill and that you're going to die, you probably will, which medical professionals have been using this technique for centuries. Also, if you believe that you have been given something that will make you better, you usually do get even better. This placebo effect is well documented in clinical trials. What this boils down to is that if you believe you can do something, you probably can, but you can also challenge limiting beliefs and change whether you believe you can do something by asking yourself questions like, how do I know I can't do that? Who said that to me? Might they have been wrong? Setting goals. We're all familiar with the concepts of goal setting, but NLP suggests some intriguing new insights concentrating on satisfaction, not frustration. For example, it's useful to make your objectives positive. Fixate on what you want to have, not what you wish to lose or not have. You should also think of what it is that you really want. An example could be this. You do not actually want to purchase your dream home. You want to live in it. It is much easier to get inspired about a goal that actually pleases you. The power of questions. Bandler suggests that our minds actively look for answers to questions. So if you ask yourself, why do I feel so bad? Your mind will find lots of answers and you will feel even worse. With NLP, the key is to ask the right questions. For instance, why do I want to change? What will life be kind of like when I have changed? What do I need to do more or less of so as to change? Some tools and methods from NLP. There are many tools and methods used in NLP, and this area gives a short intro to some. To find out more, you could go to a reliable NLP course or read one of Richard Bandler's books. Moving images. Imagine a picture of someone who annoys you. Focus on how the picture appears in your mind. Make the image tinier, put it in black and white, and envision it moving away from you. Notice how this makes you feel. Imagine a picture of something that makes you feel good. Make it bigger and brighter and move it closer to you. Notice how this makes you feel. The basic concept this is based on, the thought process, is that it helps you see how people or events affect you and understand the way that you feel about them. By manipulating images in this way, you are teaching your brain to amplify good feelings and make tensions weaker. Undermining the critical voice. Lots of us will admit to having a rather critical voice in our heads that turns up an unfavorable moment and says things like, "You could not possibly do that," or "That sounds way too difficult for a person like you." Next time you hear the critical voice, imagine it sounding silly, maybe like Donald Duck or Tweety Bird. Notice how this alters the manner in which you regard the voice's knowledge. If the voice no longer seems like somebody real, it's much easier to silence it. Running the motion picture in reverse. If you have had a disappointment that you are struggling to get over, it can help to envision it back. Start from a moment where you understood the experience was over. Then, imagine the whole incident happening back until you've gone back to a time before it happened. Do this several times till you recognize with the way that the film plays backwards. Now, make it actually small in your mind. Say little enough to see on a smartphone, and play it again back. Last but not least, think of a completely different end to the experience, one that makes you smile. Notice the way that you feel about it has changed. The important thing about this technique is that you're showing your brain a very different way of looking at a memory, which will change the way that you feel about it also. Radiance squared. Take an emotion that you wish to feel. For example, confidence. Imagine a colored square in front of you filled with the color that you connect with that emotion. Picture yourself standing in the square, filled with that emotion. Notice how you would stand, the expression on your face, every little thing about you. Step into the square and handle the mantle of the fictional you. Feel the feelings spreading through you. Repeat this a few times until you can do it quickly. Now, imagine the colored square by itself in front of you and action in. See how it feels. The technique here is that you have trained your mind to associate an image with a feeling. By creating the image, you can now create the internal feeling as well. Chapter 4. What are affirmations? Affirmations are a mix of an objective statement, a belief declaration, and a serious commitment statement. When set up properly, they're very motivational and act to refocus when you drift off course. There are 4 simple guidelines to creating really beneficial affirmations. Set a direction rather than a goal. Make it a discovering direction rather than a performance direction. Develop and tweak it to make it actually inspirational and exciting. Don't create a phony belief. Amplify something you believe already. As an example, this is a version of Michael's affirmation declaration. You can use it as a starting point, but it is better to craft one that is personal to you. Michael will learn how to sparkle from the inside out, be amazed and delighted by the number and quality of stakeholder coaching projects he gets, step up to the difficulty of leading himself and clients in bringing about positive change and becoming more successful and fulfilled. He will learn how to embrace the full disaster of life. These are what work for him. They are not likely to work for you. Chapter 5. Amplify good feelings. These are things you can do to enhance good feelings, which will help you to attain more success and joy in life. Find some place you can unwind and be comfortable, and where you won't be disturbed. Think of a great experience you have had. Enter that memory. See the important things you saw, hear the important things you heard, smell the smells and feel the feelings. Magnify those sights, sounds, and emotions. Make them larger, brighter, stronger, nearer. Try out which changes make the memory even better. You should find a point where everything is maximized. Where in your body do you feel this good feeling? Trace this good experience as it moves through you. Magnify good feelings by making the movement larger, more powerful, and quicker until you are bathed all over in this good feeling. Get something to anchor this emotion to. Remember that by shooting that anchor, you'll be able to feel this good feeling again really quickly. In NLP, an anchor is a stimulus or trigger paired with a specific response. Anchors may be set intentionally or unintentionally, openly or discreetly. Chapter 6. Liquefying Bad Memories. This is how you can liquefy bad memories, which will recover your brain from all of the negative things in your life. Get to a location where you can relax and not be disturbed. Think of a disappointment, something that your mind keeps going back to and which isn't a useful memory for you. Focus on the visual and acoustic aspects of that memory. What can you see? What can you hear? Concentrate on the things that you can see in the memory. What colors do you see? How close are the important things to you? Try pushing them further away in your mind. push them all the way to the horizon. Make the colors pale and muted. What is the good learning you gained from that bad memory? Keep that learning, but just blow the bad memory away over the horizon. Gone. Additionally, do the exact same process with the sounds of the memory. Make them quieter, more muffled, and further away. Keep hold of the helpful lessons, and after that, bring in a thunderstorm which drowns out the noises of the bad memory. If the memory returns in the future, you can use one or both of these techniques to send it away again. Additionally, instead of liquefying, you can try exploding bad memories. Chapter 7. Exploding Bad Memories. This method is called blowing up bad memories. Here is what you do. Find somewhere you can relax and where you won't be disturbed. Think of a memory that isn't beneficial to you and to which your mind keeps returning. Use submodalities: what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, and what you feel, to magnify that bad memory. Make colors brighter, sounds louder, and so forth. Think of what the bad experience taught you, and hang on to that learning. Increase the strength of the bad memory much more. Make it larger, bolder, more vivid till, boom! It explodes and nothing is left except the beneficial lesson. You can repeat this technique at any time. Chapter 8. Perceptual Positions. Perceptual positions is a form of modeling that enables us to enter somebody else's shoes and see what they see, hear what they hear, and feel what they feel. Affective positions help us get a much better impression of the client's reality. This is because when we picture we are sitting or standing as somebody else, in their posture, talking to their voice, we pick up a lot of information about what they're thinking and how they're feeling. The scientific clarification for this is that adopting the other individual's positions triggers our mirror neurons, which allow us to get a far better grasp of besides would otherwise be the case. In NLP, this process makes it possible for us to improve our social results by seeing and hearing and feeling things from another person's perspective. The 5 affective positions. There are 5 positions that we can adopt to completely understand another's viewpoint. Those positions fall under different types. First position is where we're associated, and we see things from our own viewpoint. Second position is where we disassociate from ourselves and imagine we are in somebody else's body. We see things from their viewpoint. Third position is when we're an independent observer and can watch the interaction between positions 1 and 2. We see things from an outside viewpoint. There are also a 4th and a 5th affective positions, which I only use really periodically. Fourth position is observing the third position in relationship to second position, such as, how neutral are we as an observer? Fifth position is where you observe how you associate with yourself as an observer. NLP method. Perceptual positions. Affective positions is a form of modeling that allows us to step into someone else's shoes and see what they see, hear what they hear, and feel what they feel. Affective positions help us get a far better impression of the client's reality. This is because when we imagine we're sitting or standing as another person, in their posture, speaking to their voice, we pick up a lot of info about what they are thinking and how they are feeling. The scientific explanation for this is that adopting the other individual's positions triggers our mirror nerve cells, which enable us to get a far better comprehension of others than would otherwise be true. The 5 affective positions. There are 5 positions that we can adopt to fully understand another's viewpoint. Those positions fall under different types. First position is where we are associated, and we see things from our own point of view. Second position is where we disassociate from ourselves and imagine we are in somebody else's body. We see things from their viewpoint. Third position is where we're an independent observer and can watch the interaction between positions 1 and 2. We see things from an outdoors perspective. There are also a 4th and a 5th perceptual positions, which I only use very occasionally. Fourth position is observing the third position in relationship to second position, such as, how neutral are we as an observer? Fifth position is where you observe how you relate to yourself as an observer. Suggested perceptual positions exercise. Let's say that you have a crucial meeting developing a client or stakeholder. Envision yourself in first position. Imagine a 30-second film of the meeting from your perspective. Now describe the meeting in 1 word. Imagine yourself as the client in the second position, then replay the movie. In 1 word, specify the meeting from the client's perspective. Imagine you're an independent, invisible observer in third position, and now replay the motion picture. Are the individuals showing the same or different behaviors? How is each affecting the environment of the meeting? For example, are they both being aggressive, friendly, considerate, etc.? Or is one getting along and the other unfriendly? Or is one being aggressive and the other passive? Then, return to the second position and play the motion picture again from your client's perspective. Has anything changed? Finally, think about what you could do to enhance the meeting, then play the motion picture in first position again, but including your enhancements. Now, what has changed? Chapter 9. The Fastest Phobia Remedy. The Fast Phobia Remedy is an NLP technique that's developed to quickly get rid of phobias. Access the phobia in a safe environment. Ask your client to design a fictional movie cinema in their mind. Let them use their creative skill to the fullest. Inquire to walk into the movie theater and sit in the front row in the most elegant and comfortable seats. Let them totally relax in those seats. When ready, let them imagine that they leave their bodies relaxed on the seat that they have chosen and float up to the gallery and sit in some similarly comfortable seats in the corner of the gallery. Now they can see both themselves in the front row watching the screen and the screen itself. As they're watching both themselves and the screen, add the first colored slide of a movie of their phobia, and then run the movie in color. Freeze the extremely last slide of the film and change it to a dull gray, so they only just see the content on the slide. The quick phobia treatment is an NLP technique that is designed to easily eliminate phobias. Access the phobia in a safe environment. Ask your client to design an imaginary movie cinema in their mind. Let them use their creativeness to the fullest. Ask them to walk into the cinema and sit in the front row in the most luxurious and comfortable seats. Let them completely unwind in those seats. When you are ready, let them picture that they leave their bodies relaxed on the seat they've chosen and drift up to the gallery and sit in some equally comfortable seats in the corner of the gallery. Now they can see both themselves in the front row watching the screen and the screen itself. As they're watching both themselves and the screen, add the first colored slide of a film of their phobia, and after that, run the motion picture in color. Freeze the really last slide of the movie and change it to a dull gray so they only just see the content on the slide. Help them to replay the phobia along with happy feelings. Inquire to remember a tune or piece of music that makes them feel good. Then ask to drift into the dull gray slide and reassociate with the end of the motion picture when they've already recuperated from their phobia. When they're prepared, ask them to play the film backwards at twice typical speed, or faster if they like, being completely associated and listening to the music they really enjoy. When they get to the start of the motion picture, freeze the first frame, still in gray. Ask to repeat this part of the technique much as they like, going faster each time. Access the phobia in a safe environment. Ask your client to create an imaginary movie cinema in their mind. Let them use their creative skill to the fullest. Ask them to walk into the cinema and sit in the front row in the most luxurious and comfortable seats. Let them fully relax in those seats. When prepared, let them imagine that they leave their bodies relaxed on the seat they've chosen and float up to the gallery and sit in some similarly comfortable seats in the corner of the gallery. Now they can see both themselves in the front row watching the screen and the screen itself. As they're watching both themselves and the screen, add the first colored slide of a movie of their phobia, and then run the film in color. Freeze the extremely last slide of the movie and change it to a dull gray, so they only just see the content on the slide. Help them to replay the phobia together with happy feelings. Inquire to recall a tune or piece of music that makes them feel good. Then inquire to drift into the dull gray slide and reassociate with the end of the movie, when they have already totally recuperated from their phobia. When they're ready, inquire to play the film backwards at 2 times typical speed, or faster if they like, being completely associated and listening to the music they actually enjoy. When they get to the beginning of the motion picture, freeze the first frame, still in gray. Inquire to repeat this part of the technique as much as they like, going much faster each time. Disassociate from the phobia. Tell them to drift out of the picture and join themselves in the front row of the movie theater, noticing the comfort of the seat, and after that, whiting out the whole screen. Ask if they're prepared to watch the film of phobia in color from start to end while understanding the comfort of their seat. If they are ready, let them do it. If not, or if they have any trace of discomfort, repeat the prior steps. Give them authorization to relive their phobia with the surprise and pleasure of seeing their reaction has absolutely changed. Ask them what they have learned from the experience. If needed, just repeat the prior steps.
This has been NLP. Affirmations, the power of beliefs, and healing from bad memories and fears. Written by Hendrik Kramers. Narrated by Sarah Margrave.